think that we have to do everything we can as an organization to be ready for when those moments come again, and we're as prepared as possible. And I have full faith in everybody in that room that they are going to be ready to roll. But the other part of that is we can't allow our focus to get distracted on the long run. We have to stay focused in the future, because the division we're in, if we allow our focus to slip and we're not dialed in on being at our best every day, we're gonna put ourselves in a tough spot.
Lance Orby and Terry Cochan here at the Ford Performance Center, the first day of Maple Leafs training camp. And Terry, the fans might have not got over last year's loss to the Montreal Canadiens, but the team has no choice but to move forward. What did Kyle Dubas have to say today on the first day of camp?
Well, really, Lance, I think it's all about putting that in perspective. You don't want to dwell on it, but you also don't want to completely forget it happened, because you want to use some of it as a block going forward. So I think that'll be the theme. I think the big thing, one of the big things out of today is these guys are really eager to get back and to make it right.
I think what I've learned about this group in the last 3.5 months is that they care tremendously about, rather than proving all of that stuff wrong, they care about proving themselves and what they're about right.
Right. And Dubas saying we don't carry the burden of 54 years, which is true. This group doesn't, and it shouldn't. But they do carry the burden the last half dozen years, and they want to get it right. And he talked about that and so many other things today.
A new staff for head coach Sheldon Keefe, a couple of new assistants, new strength coach, all kinds of things happening around him. And I'm sure it was a long summer for him, Terry. What were some of the highlights that you took away from his comments to the media today?
Well, really specifically, Lance, the Leafs are going to have a new person running the power play, and assistant coach Spencer Carberry, and that responsibility comes off Manny Malhotra's desk.
Thing that's set in stone here, and that's what's probably the most exciting as a coach, as you go into a camp where you've got positions available and you've got competition. And we think we've got a number of options, both in the players that we've added and the players that are returning.
Kyle Dubas said Keefe is very good at reinventing himself, and here's some of his comments today on how that might happen this season.
I don't necessarily look at it as reinventing myself or anything like that. I believe in who I am, and I also believe in a lot of the great things that we did last season to put ourselves in a position to compete in the playoffs. Obviously, we didn't get it done, and we recognize that. So an area of focus for us as a staff is just continuing to ensure that the things that we do from day one of training camp all through the season help us be at our best when it counts the most.
Well, a lot of people debate what would have happened had John Tavares been in that through that whole Montreal series and not getting hurt in the first game. Terry, what's your take on how he and the players themselves are going to conduct themselves at camp and bringing things forward?
Well, the biggest thing, of course, with Tavares is Lance. He's fully healthy.
The shock probably wore off of just being in the ambulance, being in the hospital, and just kind of taking in what I just went through. And I progressed really quickly. After 3 or 4 days, I was already on the bike, getting my heart rate up. Followed that up with, doing a light to moderate workout to what I'm sure all of you saw me starting to skate and getting on the ice. So all that was progressing really well. How much quickly that would have went if we continued playing, I don't think we'll ever really know.
And it's interesting, Tavares being the captain of this team, no, he wasn't a part of it. I think you're right. He would have made a big difference had he been in the lineup against the Canadiens, and we're probably not talking about it, but it did happen. But he sees himself, of course, as the leader of this group to get it right. It'd be interesting for Tavares this year. He's got the Olympics, a bit of a carrot too, as so many of these players do, and he's looking forward to, putting a lot of the critics aside, a lot of us on our side that had some things to say during the off-season, rightfully so, but getting it right finally with this group.
Medicals today, on ice tomorrow, first exhibition game on Saturday against Montreal Canadiens with at least 1,000 people in the stands, and hopefully we all get back to normal very soon. From the Ford Performance Center, Lance Orby and Terry Cochan for the Toronto Sun.